The PPP. Yes, I'm still talking about the PPP simply because a lot of people are still having trouble. Good morning, Joy. A lot of people are still having trouble with the PPP. Either your bank is in application status and like the bank is kicking back, asking you for more information, or I found that some people don't even know that you can still apply for PPP. PPP is still open. One of the reasons why I think it's still open is simply because they are so slow in the process in giving people money. Like, even the second round is going slow. I mean, if you've gotten PPP before and now you're going for either the second round, y'all let me know in the comment section, does it just feel slower to you, or is it just me that it's just feeling extremely slow? Like, everybody that I know who's either put their second application in or are putting in the very first application, and yes, you can put in for PPP. Like I said, the money is still there. It is there because I think the banks are being more cautious about lending. Okay, are PPP servicing so for solo proprietors? Yes. PPP, I got a question over here in the comment section from Reba. Yes, Reba. PPP is for sole proprietorships, solo owners, LLCs, S corporations, if you're filing payroll. If you're not, then there's other ways around that. C corporations, business. If you're in business, you can get PPP. Now, the way that you prove your PPP, if you're a sole proprietor, you file what's called a Schedule C in your personal tax return. That's your business tax return. It also serves as your income tax return and your employment tax return. You just need your 2019 Schedule C, and you can apply for the PPP, Reba. So if you're a solo proprietor, all the solo proprietors out there, even if you didn't incorporate, if you have a Schedule C in your tax return, you can apply for the PPP. Yes, that rhyme. Dr. Pam, good morning. You know this is intensified pink that I'm wearing this morning. So, thank you for my compliment in my red, but I be calling it intensified pink sometimes, teasing with my Delta sisters out there, like Dr. Pam. All right, so y'all, okay, good morning. If anybody, I didn't tell good morning yet. Okay, so I answered that question, Reba. I answered your question. Okay, so why the bank won't approve your PPP loan and what should you do? Well, I don't know if the bank's not approving the PPP loans as much as I believe that the banks are just moving very slow and are being very cautious. So what you need to do is, the bank has a list of items that they're asking for. What I found is that even when people give them exactly what they're asking for, because I have a client that I'm insisting, and she's textbook perfect. Okay, textbook perfect. We had to kick back and give her items simply because the bank was saying, well, you're asking for $15,000 and you qualify for $14,500 based on what we're doing with the paperwork. I honestly really believe that they have automated the PPP process, and it's the computer that's kicking back. So if you find that you're kind of getting stuck in this cycle of applying for the PPP, you got everything there, but you're still stuck in the cycle. What we did was, and what I recommend you do is, if they're asking you to provide documents that you've already provided, write a letter that summarizes, these are all the things that I've attached to the application, and for every time they ask you for it again, just say, because you already have it in what you're submitting. Sometimes for some reason the system seems to have a glitch, and I would just attach that letter. If you have to apply for it again, or have to give something that you already have on the in the attachment, just put a letter so that when it gets to a live person, that they can see that you've organized everything and you're not some crazy person just giving duplicate after duplicate after duplicate of an item, just highlight that the system is asking for the same information. Okay, so if you're applying for the PPP, let me tell you what you need. Okay, make sure that you have your Schedule C if you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC. If you are a S corporation or a C corporation, make sure you have your K1 standalone. And also, if you have Schedule C yourself for the amount that you paid yourself, have that as well. Now, you're going to probably run into a sticky situation if you're an S corporation or a C corporation and you have not processed payroll, but I can address that at another time. But make sure that if you're an S corporation and a C corporation, you've downloaded your W-3 that goes with your W-2. So go to your payroll service provider and save down to a folder every quarter, 941. At the end of the year, which you just finished a year, have your W-3 transmittal, not the W-2s, but the W-3, and your Form 940. The W-3 and the 940 has the total income, total payroll that you paid yourself and all of your employees in one spot. It's the same as the Schedule C, right? Because the Schedule C shows what you paid yourself for a full year for whatever that tax year you're showing them. So this is what the Form 940 and the W-3 does. So if you're processing payroll, make sure you have that. Also have every quarter of your 941s, whether it's zero or not, have that ready to go. And I would go into my accounting system and generate a 12-month statement starting from February 15th, just so that you can show that, hey, from the start of the corona to now, these are my quarters. And I would do it by the quarter or by the month, so that you can show and compare it to the previous year so that you can show what you're doing and what's going on with you. Okay, here's the question. All right, got another question. What if you didn't make any money in 2019 based on your Schedule C? Well, if you didn't make any money in 2019 based on your Schedule C, then don't use your 2019 Schedule C. Use your 2020 Schedule C. You're not required to use your 2019 Schedule C to qualify for the PPP. But what that does is the 2019 Schedule C proves that you were in business when the Rona hit. Okay, the PPP is for businesses that were in operation and in business on February 15th, and they are trying to keep you in business and keep your employees paid by giving you this loan that's forgivable. All right, so I answered question number 1. My next question, let's see, do I have now? My next question is, will you get your stimulus when you file your taxes? I have so many questions. People, hey, I didn't get my stimulus. Will I get my stimulus when I file my taxes? Even for people who filed their taxes late. Let's say that you haven't filed your 2019 taxes yet because we were in a pandemic year. If you didn't file your 2019 taxes, when you file your 2019 taxes, more than likely they're going to give you a paper check. When you receive that paper check, you'll get your refund check if you're getting a refund, and you'll also get a piggyback check for the stimulus, okay? You'll get both at the same time. Now, if you filed your 18 and 19 and you did not get the stimulus, but you're due the stimulus, right? Because you filed them late, you need to make sure, and that's for everybody. When you get your taxes done, please know how much stimulus you got. First round and second round, because they will have to be placed individually on your return, and if you did not get it and you should have received it, you will receive it in with your 2020 tax refund. All right, so next question. All right, how you get your stimulus when you didn't file your taxes? I just told you guys that. I didn't file my 2019 taxes. Will I get the stimulus? I didn't get it when I filed. I just answered that question. And my last question that I've gotten is, what if I pulled out of my 401k or retirement during the pandemic? Will I be taxed? And how do I get that tax break I heard about? All right, so for those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, I'm going to give a little bit of a background. So typically right now is like back in the pandemic, you could pull out of your retirement fund from your employer or out of your 401k. And when you pull out of your 401k, you have the option of, like, let's say for example, you normally will pull, and I'm just gonna grab a big number, $30,000 out of your 401k because you needed it during the pandemic. Typically, they would hold 20% of the taxes for that, which is $6,000. Plus, if you pulled before you were 59 and a half, they're going to pull that 10% penalty. All right. So in the pandemic, you're allowed to pull out of, well, there has been allowance for you to pull out of your 401ks or pension and retirement funds and not have to claim all of what you pull. So let's say, for example, you got $30,000. Some employers, I think it's the 5-year rule. You can split it over 5. So if you can split your $30,000 over 5 years, you take $6,000 of it on your 2020 tax return, $6,000 on your 2021, and thereafter. So you're going to take $6,000. You're going to drip that income into your tax return into increments of 3 or 5, right? And so you let your preparer know that that's what you want to do so that you don't get taxed on the full $30,000, okay? What you're going to receive this year, if that's you, you're going to receive a 1099-R, and the 1099-R may have the full amount, but then it's up to us, the person preparing your taxes. If it's your accountant, if you're not working with an accountant, make sure you tell your tax preparer that this is the situation you want to do. You want to drip that income into this year and future years so that you're not hit with a big tax bill. All right. I hope I answered y'all questions today for this Business Convos and Coffee. Let me know if you have any questions throughout the week. DM me. Y'all know that we are under 60 days away from the tax deadline, and if you are an S Corp or a C Corp, you're even less than that. You're less than 30 days away from the tax deadline. So guess what, guys? I think it's extension time. So if you need to file an extension, reach out to us. Go ahead and go ahead and fill out our client information form so that we can. Actually, let me put that here in the comments. You guys go ahead and fill it out, and we will file the extension for you. I think I have a Bitly link. I think it's www. I want an extension that I use. File my extension. Yep. This one. I'm gonna copy this, and put it in the comments. Yay, Reba! You remember when we went out to dinner to Longhorn long time ago? Yes. I think you called me. Okay, if you want an extension, I just put my link for extension requesting. Yes, I'll DM. Yes. I'll DM you about my question from last week. What question from last week? I got a DM. You gotta forgive me. Last week, let me tell y'all, last week was crazy. I had so many people, we had so many people from our staff that was out. I mean, it was almost like the devil trying to block us from reaching, giving you guys what you need to be successful. We had 6 of our staff out, 6. For different reasons. 2 of our accountants was out, which was cray-cray. And then we had someone transitioning, which was just crazy. So if last week you reached out to me and I'm a little bit slow in responding, or I haven't seen it yet, y'all give me some grace and forgive me, because it is tax season and I had to do some shifting that I wasn't expecting to do. I have literally a crate this big of files that I'm going to be reviewing and giving people copies of their returns and all this kind of stuff. Because one of my reviewers was out this week. Y'all, look, this has been crazy. So the beauty of entrepreneurship and the beauty of being a founder and solopreneur, I have done every job in this building. So when one isn't getting done, I can roll up my sleeve and do it. But look, we should not be doing that as founders and CEOs of our business. Where we can and when we can, we got to make sure that we enlist help, because we only grow when we get people, when we employ and we get people to help. I was so happy, Joy, if you're here, you'll be proud of me. I leaned on my SOPs. I took the positions that needed to get done and I rerouted them over to where they needed to be. It was amazing. It's the first time I was able to do it, but this year I have been very intentional about making sure we document what we do and how we do it and what each job role is. And when we had all these people out this week, y'all, it did not feel as bad as it did. And when y'all saw me all made up throughout the week, it was because I didn't want to look like what I had been through. And so I just dressed it up and dolled it up and kept moving, y'all. So anyway, we're approaching the tax deadline, y'all. The time is drawing near. It's time to file extensions. I know tax season just opened up last Friday, but if you know that you're not going to make the March 15th deadline for S Corps and C Corps and partnerships, and if you know that April 15th is coming, but you may not have all your stuff together because you got a million things going on, let's go ahead and get the extension filed. Even if you think you might make the deadline, get your extension filed, but know that the extension is not going to extend the time that you got to pay the government their money. The government wants the money that you owe from your tax return. They want the money you owe like by April 15th, unless they extend us some grace. They haven't extended that deadline for this year yet, but just know that the tax deadline to pay your taxes is April 15th. We can file an extension for you to file your taxes, but not to pay your taxes. So make sure that if you need time to file it, make sure you file the extension. Even if you can't pay it by April 15th, file the extension so you don't get hit with the penalties for filing late and paying late. That's all I got for y'all this morning. Okay? Now, don't forget to take your profit in the right direction, and that's up. I am Spicita Jackson, the accountant you want to work with when you want to build, scale, and sell your business one day. All right, y'all, be blessed. Bye. Mwah. I love y'all.